The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Your top 5, I guess, old time, old school, however you want to word it.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned Lazy Grey in there, so dudes of that kind of era.
Yeah.
Who would you have as your top 5? And you can have Cruz in there if you want.
Yeah. Man, that's a hard one, bro.
Yeah, man.
Shit.
They get harder and harder.
Yeah. Man, I could just say syllabolics for that whole 5, you know. But I'm gonna give Draft the first spot, just because man, like, you know, there was a time where you couldn't get around without hearing someone playing Drink Drank Drunk, or, you know, Jimmy Ricard and shit like that. And you know, now he's helping out the next gen, which, like, he doesn't have to do that shit, you know. But, you know, Who Am I is probably one of the best Aussie hip hop albums ever, like, in my opinion. Some of those disaster beats.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That joint that they've got on there called The Music.
Yeah.
That,
Music.
dude, I had that on repeat for years.
It's one of those start to finish albums for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, Draft's gonna get that top spot for me. I have to put Hunter second, R.I.P. for sure. He was another massive influence for me, just being from that scene. And, like, we went to the same school, obviously a decade apart, but, you know, we shared the same birthday. And the last time I saw him, we shared a spliff, you know. He was like, birthday boy, and he had that high grade, you know, medicinal stuff. We were actually backstage. I think it was like a funk hall show in Perth or something. And yeah, so yeah, give that spot to him for sure. Rest in peace, King. Third spot. See, it's hard. I'm just gonna be dropping syllabolics for sure.
Man.
But actually, no. Third spot I'm gonna give to Bias B. You know, shout outs to Rowdy Mob. We were all little graffarats back then, and Aerosol era and stuff like that. Been there, done that. They played at my boy's funeral and stuff in like '08, and I ended up meeting Bias a few years later. I think he was like managing one of the Cursor tours back in the day, and ended up staying at his house. And I'm just keeping it together, like, wigging out, little fanboy, thinking, you know, like, this guy doesn't know, you know, what he means to us and shit. And after a few drinks, I told him. But nah, you know, I call him Uncle Bias now. Like, every time I'm in Melbourne, he reaches out, and that's just crazy. Like, just shows no matter where you are, what level, or, you know, like, you can still be that humble dude, you know. And yeah, you know, he put together the Hunter Cup and stuff like that. And yeah, he was, just like, like being there, done that, and the tracks he was doing with Bigfoot. Shout out to Bigfoot as well. Like, yeah, Bias B was, third for sure.
All right, so that's your top 3.
Yeah.
And then 4th and 5th.
Fourth, I'm going to give to Layla. Layla was always one of my favourites. Obviously, she hasn't done anything for a while, but that Heretic album, and I was lucky to get a verse off her before she had quietened down. And yeah, just like, she's just so unorthodox as well. But when, like, her and Daz, man, were like the best live act in Perth, man. And I was just coming to the scene, and I remember thinking, like, I can't do that shit, you know. And then fast forward a year or two, and I'm on stage, and Daz is playing the NPC behind me, you know, and Layla's on my album and stuff. So they were definitely two that made me go, or they were the ones that I would look at to think, how could I improve my live performance. And yeah, Layla just always had good topics, and yeah, she gets that 4th spot for sure.
And then to wrap it up, number 5.
5. There's going to be someone I'm going to forget.
You're always
I'm trying to
miss
just
someone.
I'm trying to go around the country and think of, like, who has that spot. But of all time, obviously, there's a lot of MCs I wouldn't mention because they're more that came along later. That are just my mates. But the ones of all time, especially before I was doing shows, I'm gonna get. I have to say Hilltop Hoods. I have to. Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to, because, again, The Calling, Hard Road, they were like the vitals. If people said, what albums should I check out, you know, you'd say Who Am I, The Calling, even Day of the Dog, Bob Listen Esso, stuff like that. Special mentions to Funk Calls, but yeah, Hilltop Hoods, 5th, for sure.
There's your 5.
Yeah.
The last 2 7. Oh yeah.